One day, a teenage boy who was struggling with an addiction went to visit a wise man to seek counsel. Not wanting to tell the wise man what addiction he was battling, the teenage boy asked the wise man, "Wise one, how do bad habits ruin our lives, and how is it that they get stronger each day, till it becomes almost impossible to overcome them?" To answer the question, the wise man gave the teenage boy a story that went like this. Once upon a time, a slave bought a very expensive house from a wealthy merchant. The slave didn't afford the house because he had money to buy it, but he afforded it because its price was based on a condition rather than money. In their price negotiation, the wealthy merchant had told the slave, "I will give you this expensive house and everything in it. You are free to own and do whatever it is that pleases you in this house. In this house, there are lots and lots of precious stones and other valuables that will soon belong to you, if only you will match my asking price." In a defeated tone, the slave said to the merchant, "My lord, I really appreciate your offer, but you know I'm a very poor man, and even in 100 years, I would still not be able to raise the amount needed to buy this expensive house of yours." Laughing, the wealthy merchant told him, "Who said I needed your money? By market value, this house and all its components is the most expensive one there is, but yet, surprisingly, it's also the cheapest one in the market. Its value is not based on money, but on one condition. If you promise to obey this condition and live by it, you can have the house without having to spend a single penny." Excitedly, the slave asked the merchant, "My lord, what is this one condition?" Without saying much, the wealthy merchant took the slave by hand and led him inside the house. Inside, the slave was given an exclusive house tour, and the merchant explained to him every tiny detail about everything in the house. The interior of the house was a sight to behold. Even in his wildest stretch of imagination, the slave had never seen a house so beautiful. Everything felt expensive, and the house felt to be all sufficient of all the things the slave could ever imagine of. From the beer cabinet, to the gold-coated bathtubs, to the expensive leather seats, and so on. When the house tour was over, the slave told the wealthy merchant, "My lord, this house is beyond my wildest dream. I am ready to commit to whatever condition you have, provided I become the new owner of this house. Will you please be kind to me, and tell me what this condition that equates to this house's price is?" Smiling, the wealthy merchant took the slave to the master bedroom and pointed to a nail that was pinned to the wall. He then asked the slave, "You see that nail over there?" The slave replied, "Yes, I do." The merchant continued, "Of all the things in this house, that nail is the most precious thing to me. I have been using it to hang my coats for years, and it has always served me faithfully. My only condition for you acquiring this house is that you can own everything in it, but that nail, and everything that I hang on it, belongs to me. You have no moral or legal right to remove anything that I hang on it. You should never pluck it out, or hang anything on it. Also, you have to promise me that even though you are the new owner of this house, there is no particular day or hour that you will ever prevent me from coming to see this nail. In short, you own this house, but I own that nail and I can visit any time just to see it. Do we have a deal?" Thinking fast, the slave felt that the deal was too sweet to let go. He thought to himself, "After all, what is a nail anyway? I will have the house, while this useless merchant will have his stupid nail." So, without wasting time, the slave accepted the offer, and they even signed a legal abiding agreement. After that, the wealthy merchant left, and the slave became the new owner of the house. Many months passed, and the slave became a very wealthy man from the sale of some of the precious stones that were in the house. He married a woman from a noble family, and together they had 3 beautiful daughters. Occasionally, the wealthy merchant would knock at their door, and once inside, without even greeting the occupants of the house, he would go straight to the master bedroom, check on his nail, and then leave as fast as he had come. By now, the whole family had gotten used to him, and so no one ever gave him much thought, or considered him as a bother. So one day, to celebrate their marriage anniversary, the slave organized a party, and invited all the wealthy dignitaries in the land to come and celebrate with him. The party was one to be envied. The house was full to the brim, and every kind of drinks and foods were served. The climax of the party was the guests getting entertained by the best musicians in the land. Just when everything was all merry and fun, the unexpected happened. The wealthy merchant, who had not been invited to the party, showed up carrying a foul-smelling carcass in a sack. He entered the house, went straight to the master bedroom, hung the sack at his nail, then exited the building. Within seconds, the whole house was filled with a foul smell. The party came to an immediate stop as the guests vomited as they rushed to quickly exit the house. The slave and his family felt so offended, but they could do nothing about it. After all, the wealthy merchant had done nothing wrong. And because the slave had no legal or moral right to remove anything that the merchant hung on his nail, they could not remove the carcass. They had to wait until the day the merchant would come and do it himself. So, after he was done narrating the story, the wise man looked at the teenage boy and told him, "Son, the slave represents you, the wealthy merchant represents a bad habit that you have, and the nail represents your willingness to entertain the habit." A nail that the slave thought to be harmless at first turned out to be the most disastrous later in his life. At first, the habit seems to be harmless, and that's why you entertain it, but one day, just as the slave came to realize, it will cost you far more than your life. Just like the carcass on the nail cost the slave his friends, that bad habit in your life, be it masturbation, pornography, drugs, dishonesty, and so forth, will eventually cost you far more than you ever thought. Remember, the chains of a habit are too weak to be felt, until they are too hard to be broken. Habits don't get stronger because they are stronger than us, they get stronger because we entertain them. And the bad thing about bad habits is that they are always free to start, but you will have to pay dearly for you to stop them. Just like fishing, bad habits will only show you the bait, but not the hook. Why do you think porn is free in the internet, yet it costs lots of money to produce? What's their catch? Don't be a fool, my son. In the porn industry, the viewer is the product of sale. Besides, life is so full of good things. Why would you foolishly choose to be a slave of the bad ones? Be wise.